Hey everyone, Cralopix here. And today I thought I would finally get into this thumbtack craft that I purchased in Singapore for $4. It's very cheap and it's a very simple craft, but let's go ahead and get into it. So, just opening up. I did a brief look inside before. I mean, there's really not much here, not much to it, but it's got pins, thumbtacks, but there are, many different colors. And then you've got this pattern sheet. Got this pattern sheet, which you push the thumbtacks through, and they all have like little dots, like little bullseyes. So you're putting the thumbtacks directly into the center, and that attaches to this styrofoam. Can I take it out without wrecking the box? Okay, nope, gotta dump it. All right, there we go. So I imagine this to be a super quick craft, and yeah, there's really no explanation for this one. So let's just really get into it. Excuse me, my chair is really creaky, but I need to move closer to my table. Okay, that's better. All right, so yeah, let's just, I'm gonna start towards the middle, and then I'll do a little bit on the edges just so I can, pin it down in the correct place. Or maybe I'll do a couple in the corners first. But I do just want to make sure that this is centered. And it's got there's a legend down here to tell you what shape is what color. So it's pretty simple. Like if you know how to diamond paint, you could do this in your sleep most likely. So let's make sure this is straight. I just wish I could find all of these colors of thumbtacks, and I would like totally make this myself. But I can usually only find like, maybe 6 colors at the most. So I don't think I could do any designs that are worthwhile, I should say, for just 6 colors. Although maybe I should make that as a challenge for myself. That would be interesting, I think. The paper is a little bit bigger than the board, so I'm just trying to make it even. And I think I've got it. It's good enough. I need to crack these open. They're all individually sealed packets, which is cool. Where's my knife? Make this a bit easier on myself. This knife is very handy, and I feel like I got a good deal because it was only $2.80 from Daiso, the Japanese dollar store here. So, all right. So I'm happy with the position of the paper. I'm gonna stick in my first pin. Ta-da! Woohoo! All right. I get excited when you put down the first bit, so I'll only do a little bit of white since I know it's a little hard to see. Well, I think it's a little hard to see. But I imagine this craft to go by really quickly. So let's see if I don't like goof around with it. And then if I finish this will contribute to my New Year's resolution of finishing a project. This will be the one for January. Kind of cheating, but it still counts. It still counts. And me, I have to be like super exact. It has to be on the dot. Not a millimeter to the side, on the dot. I think that's where all of my time goes. I have to be so exact about things. But I must say, diamond painting, like at the start, diamond painting, I had to be super exact about things. And then I quickly got over that. Well, I don't know how quickly, but I got over that. I was like, you know what? Especially working with the squares, I was like, nah, I'm done. It doesn't have to be super, super exact anymore. You know, just as close as I can get it. Boom, I'm done. So I don't know if that's a good thing. You know, that means less stress, but that also means that I strive less for perfection. So I don't know. I can't say that I care one way or the other at the moment. It was just an observation of myself. But how are you with your diamond paintings? Are you still like, you know, do you do them the same as when you first started? Are you very, you know, particular about the diamonds? Do you try to get them exactly in the middle? Do you nudge, nudge, nudge until they're perfect? Or do you just place them down and just be like, close enough, still looks good? Because even though it's not perfect, the end result still looks good. So I think that's very hard, and it's very easy to get away with not doing things perfectly. Alright, so that's anchored. I'm going to move on to a better color. I guess I'll work from the center out. So let's see. Sorry, I'll do a little bit more white in the center here just to not make holes in my piece. I wish I could find more of these kits. And I wish they had, like, at the store that I purchased this from, I wish they had other images, but yeah, no. This is pretty quick, pretty easy. But you can't do much in the way of nudging, or else you widen the holes and then the pins will fall out, so. I'm actually having a good time. Alright, let's do small b, which is dark green. At least there's not that many colors, so I don't have to figure out which DMC this is. Like, which dark green are you talking about? That makes things a lot easier. This is a good no-stress project, I feel. As in, there's no setup, there's no thinking, like you can just open it and go. There's no thinking about anything. I like that sometimes. There's no planning what your pattern is or setting up. Like I didn't have to, you know, count my colors and put them in boxes, and I don't have to wash anything. Thank goodness. Washing diamonds is almost the worst because it's so easy to lose diamonds that way. And I was just thinking about the diamonds that I washed for the rhinestone cottage. And I must not have done the best job because whilst they don't clump up or anything, there's still a smell. A very strong chemical type smell. And I'm imagining it's come from those diamonds. Well, I know it's come from those diamonds that were oily. So either they just naturally stink or I needed to wash them a little bit more. That piece is a bit of a disappointment. But yeah, it happens, doesn't it? Okay, next color. Capital D, which is yellow. This is quite repetitive, so I'm just going to speed things up a little bit. Yeah, totally meant to spill all those red ones. Yeah, because, yeah, they're easier to pick up, right? Right. Even someone with butterfingers like me can do this one. It's a bit bigger, of course, you know, and easier to handle. So if you've got the jitters, if you've got butterfingers, this will probably still be okay for you. They're big enough to hold. Yeah, and speaking of butterfingers, yeah, the red ones probably won't be the only ones that I spilled this whole time, so. It's a lot easier than I thought to fix some of the wonky pins. Just pull it out and stick it in again, really. That easy. So that's good. You can make slight corrections. And with square diamonds, although I wouldn't recommend leaning heavily on this technique, but doing kind of like the checkerboard patterns, and when you fill in the holes, they do kind of start to straighten out, but they don't straighten out perfectly, and I think that's where I kind of went wrong on. I do find it faster to spill these on the board and work with them that way instead of pulling them out of the containers. They're just, at least when they're rolled out on the board, I can quickly figure out how to pick them up so I don't jab my fingers. I really love anything to do with pixel art, so this craft was really up my alley. I really enjoy, stuff, creating pictures out of pixels, and I think that's why diamond painting is, so much fun for me as well. So I feel like whilst this isn't a remarkable craft or anything, it's kind of out of the ordinary. So my question to you guys is, what is the weirdest craft that you have ever seen or done? I am really interested to hear because there's a lot of things out there, and they all make me very curious. So tell me, yeah, what's the weirdest one you've ever done or ever seen? I'm really surprised that I didn't jab my fingers throughout this process. Like, my fingers are okay. No holes in them, surprisingly. I was thinking could probably replicate this craft one of two ways. One, you could use the dressmaker pins, the ones that have the round heads and they come in the, all the colors. But I don't think you can buy them in individual colors. So you'd have to buy many multi-packs and then pick out the colors you want. But they seem to have a lot more colors, and then they have like the pearly ones and stuff like that. So that might be an option, but you would have to, I think you would have to, they're usually quite long, so you would have to cut it down, I think. And I'm not sure how easy that would be. Probably really easy because they're thin, and if you use wire clippers, that should be alright. But yeah, I'm not sure if that's something that I'll try, but it's an option, I think. The other option was to use Thumbtacks, but they're the flat ones with the wider heads. That's the only problem. They have such a large, they take up so much more space that it's harder to make a smaller picture. Like the size that it would take up just to make this same picture would probably, I would think it would double in size, if not more. So that's the only problem I foresee with that. I guess I could ultimately cut out some of the white, but and that's only if I decided to use Thumbtacks, but they just take up more space, and that just doesn't make a whole heap of sense to me at this time. But again, another option. I did have to look up the difference between push pins and thumbtacks because I knew there was a difference, but I tend to use them interchangeably. Because, push pins, you're pushing pins in, and thumbtacks, you're tacking things together by pushing your thumb. So I don't know, it was silly, but I was using them interchangeably for a while, and then I had to remind myself that, hey, there is an actual difference between the two, so yeah. All right, whew. It is done. Oh my god, this thing is super heavy now with all the pins in it. It is so heavy. I don't even know. It's probably like, I'm not even gonna try to guess because I'm really bad at guessing weight. So yeah, it's very heavy, and it was a really light piece of styrofoam. But yeah, it's done. And it took me a lot longer than I thought it would. Obviously, I underestimated how quickly I can put in one push pin at a time. So it took me almost 4 hours to complete all of this. So yeah, it's still good for one day, but it was a little more than I had been expecting. But finished product, it's done. Woohoo! That means I'm on track already so far for the new year. That's good. And yeah, this piece, it's kind of cute, kind of ugly. Definitely endearing. It's a very interesting craft. I never thought, you know, to put thumbtacks into some styrofoam to create a picture. But I feel like this was quite creative of whoever thought of this craft. So yeah, it was actually quite fun. It was very relaxing, especially doing the white bit, because after a while, you know, you're putting them into the same symbol and, you know, you just like become, you know, an automaton. But I guess at the same time, I started thinking, you know, the meaning of life and stuff. So it was quite fun, and it is pretty relaxing to do. So I must say, and it feels good to put the push pins down into the styrofoam. It's very satisfying. This craft is quite satisfying. Yeah, I mean, of course the detail leaves a lot wanting there, but that's just how it is, right? Otherwise, you know, you do diamond painting. If you want something a little bit more detailed, you have to go smaller, as we all know by now. But yeah, it was an interesting craft. I'm glad I did it. I kind of wish I had another one to do, really. I'm still in awe at how heavy it is. And you can tell I started getting a little anxious on this end. Like, it's not as straight as it is on this end. But, you know, oh well. That's how it's going to be now. Maybe I'll try to go in and fix them a little bit. But it feels really nice to run your hands over. It's a very nice texture. I did have some garbage here, only because most of these have no pins. And then there was one pin with no head. And there was one discolored pin. And then this one was like all bent out of shape for some reason. And it had no point on it, so there's no way I would have gotten that through. But that's it. Considering how many thumbtacks I have put in here, that's pretty good. You know, no diamond painting can boast that, I feel. Or can they? But yes, I hope that you have enjoyed watching this. Maybe this will inspire you to find this kit or create a kit of your own. Let me know if you do. But yes, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!